We are live now. I'll kick it off. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me today in a conversation with Chris Cullen, Director of Digital Engagement at Blue Cross of Idaho. My name is Chris Hoyd, and I'll be asking Chris to tell us a bit more about the work she's done at Blue Cross of Idaho. I'm the Director of Product at a digital product development firm called Vinyl, where our team helps clients in healthcare and other industries with their product strategy, custom software development, and digital transformations. We at Vinyl have been a close partner of Blue Cross of Idaho's for the last few years, and I've collaborated with Chris in a lot of ways as we've worked to lead her organization to a new digital foundation. Thanks everyone for joining. I think we're ready to get started. So Chris, can you tell us a bit about Blue Cross of Idaho's background as a not-for-profit organization?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So Blue Cross of Idaho is a 70-plus-year-old company, very much ingrained in the community, very interested in helping people with a rich background of community, and literally started in 1945 with a luncheon meeting between community leaders who at the time were trying to solve the problem of providing health and services to our miners in the industry. And ever since then, Blue Cross of Idaho has been a leader in the healthcare services and providing services in Idaho.
Awesome. So with that backdrop, that kind of rich background, can you talk to us a bit about what the vision is for Blue Cross of Idaho?
Sure, absolutely. So the vision of Blue Cross of Idaho is to provide high quality healthcare, affordable for our members, right? Our mission is to be affordable, seamless, and hold our members' hands throughout their customer journey.
Awesome. So many people watching this probably know that our healthcare ecosystem is complex and at times can seem hostile to innovation. What in your mind are the challenges facing a highly regulated industry like this one?
I believe that it is the regulation, right? It's our ability to be agile. It's our ability to react quickly. When you are a legacy company and you've had years and years and years of success building upon custom, complex processes, which ultimately become some of your bread and butter, there is a complexity built in. There's also a mind shift there that is really challenging. I think keeping up with technology has been one of our big challenges as well. And when you have so many regulations and laws that you have to comply with, and you've been in a healthcare system that is slow to change, that definitely adds to those challenges in a payer industry.
Right, so there are a lot of challenges, but some changes maybe need to be made. Can you talk a little bit about how you think health plans need to adapt to meet consumers where they are today?
I think where our healthcare payers need to adapt, obviously, affordability, navigatability, if you will, and the seamless experience and simplify. I would say those four things. Meet the consumer where the consumer is, and meet the provider where the provider is, right? Bring all of these stakeholders together with them. And I think, to summarize, if we look at those four things, we've got a recipe for success.
Awesome. That sounds right to me. So now focusing, sort of on our recent modernization effort over the last 2-3 years, can you talk to us kind of at a high level about the mission and objectives that were set forth a few years ago?
So what we set out to do in digital engagement was really focused on how do we respond quickly? how do we respond quickly to disruption in the marketplace? And how do we provide and react quickly to what our members and customers want to see? And we realized from a technology perspective that we could not move quickly. We were at best delivering 3 significant digital asset releases a year. And we just were not moving fast enough. And so we were very fortunate and had some executive leadership that recognized right away, if we're going to compete in an industry that is being disrupted, we need to modernize. And so our mission, we had a 3-year digital modernization mission, was to provide the digital foundation and digital assets that our members were not only could use, providing a seamless experience, but that they chose to use. So that was what we focused on.
Awesome, very cool. So big goals for a large organization. You know, I know it's not necessarily easy for large organizations to, sort of in reality, improve themselves in a short amount of time. How did you get buy-in from other stakeholders and departments to see this effort through?
Well, actually, I was very, very fortunate. We had executive leadership all the way from the top who recognized that we needed to change. And I really want to give them credit. And our CEO, Charlene Marr, when she came into Blue Cross of Idaho, she recognized right away that we had opportunities to improve. And she gave every single employee the opportunity to ask questions, simplify, innovate, collaborate, take risks, and improve things. And I think with that kind of leadership, it gave people the confidence to approach things that they may not have approached in the past. And we also had some other executive vice presidential leadership that was doing the research on the disruption and what startup companies were doing, the investments that the big tech, right, like the Amazons, and we talk about Oscar every once in a while as a new startup. These new startups that are coming at us, they are not only thinking differently, but they're thinking differently because the technology has brought the capabilities that make that disruption possible. Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate. We had leadership. What I would also add to that is this is a slow journey. It took years, right? We're in our 3rd year, and every single day, even now, even today, it's still a narrative. It's a constant narrative. And you just have to be willing to continue to tell that story, continue to tell that narrative, so that until everyone understands it and everyone buys in, and it literally becomes the fabric of the culture.
Oh, I love that. That's a really good point, I think. So aside from making that narrative, really part of the culture in the organization, what are some of the big, maybe more tactical challenges that you've encountered throughout this transformation?
Okay, so the tactical challenges, so many. So from a technology perspective, aside from the cultural challenges, right out the bat, you may or may not have the right skill set. So how do you understand what technology stack to spin up? And how do you know what talent you need to bring in-house? How do you know which business processes and digital assets to tackle first? And pulling an organization together, one of the things that we learned early on is, from a technology perspective, it is not just one team. It took the entire IT team, because when we start talking about provisioning from the cloud and using things in the cloud. And we need our security team, and we need some DevOps, we need QA. These are skill sets and terms that our company never used. The other thing is product management that I would love to talk about, bringing in that discipline with the help of Vinyl, you know, definitions and terms and understanding, and also bringing credibility to it, right? You finding the right people to bring credibility to help lead the teams and champion and give that narrative. So those lots and lots of challenges.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy to speak to some of those as well. But I think you know, it's been a pleasure to work with your organization, and while we've just kind of listed some of the things that maybe haven't been perfect throughout the way, I think we've seen a lot of successes. So maybe let's take a minute can you talk us through some of the successes that you've seen?
Well, I would start by saying first and foremost, we did modernize our technology, and we are in the cloud. Huge, right? Huge for, you know, legacy technology infrastructure company. Very, very exciting. So we are in the cloud. We have been very successful evolving our agile principles. We did implement CI/CD and some new QA and automated testing. We've implemented much more robust, secure development practices. And I would like to talk about the product management discipline that we've introduced to the company. This is a very digital focused discipline that is very, very different than an approach to project management that many companies are used to. And it is a complete shift in how you fund your organization. It's a shift in how you shape a team where you have cross-functional teams. It's a shift to getting people out of their silos, but just bringing that level of leadership and pride. And the key things that I would share with the product management that I think that the company is still struggling with a little bit, that's been a really great add, is from a product management standpoint, you are thinking like a customer. You put yourselves in that customer's shoes so that you're not building something that you think they might want. You really know that it's what they want. And then we iterate, right? We talk about this in Agile all the time. Small features, get it out there, same type of thing. I think the thing that we like about product management that it brings is it is, again, bringing cross enterprise teams together. And it's bringing more strategic thought leadership. What is your competition doing out there? And then what are the metrics? How are people really using this so that we're much more informed? So those are some of the things that we've really liked about product management and that are completely new to the company.
Awesome. So big changes over the last few years, but it sounds like pretty exciting transformations happening. So yeah. Shameless self-promotion here just for a second. Can you talk a little bit about where Vinyl has fit into this broader effort and maybe some of the successes that we've contributed to?
Absolutely. So we partnered with the Vinyl team early on in our digital transformation journey. Ironically, we were more or less really just looking for development staff augmentation, and yet they brought so much more. So we've really relied heavily on the Vinyl team for not only front end and back end development of our digital assets. They brought in some really rich, amazing design talent and the product management discipline. So those are just really some key areas. They've given us some advice with regards to architecture and DevOps, but I would say in the design and the product management space really shined. We would not have been able to do it without them. What I would also advocate is from a benchmark or from a metric standpoint, what we've been able to do with the leadership and building out our teams is we've literally increased our significant releases by 325%. We went from delivering 3 significant releases a year to more than 12. And we've increased our engagement, our digital engagement by 50% on smartphones and mobile applications. So we're pretty excited.
Wow, that is awesome. And as someone who's worked closely with you on a lot of those things over the last few years, I think some of the things that I will look back on as big contributions that Vinyl could sort of help collaborate with Blue Cross of Idaho on were the bringing product and design sprints. That was a big one. Kind of instilled, maybe a new embrace of user research, which is part and parcel to a healthy product management practice.
Yep.
Things like product governance. I think you touched on this, but creating this concept of like a product council and kind of providing for the caring and feeding and ongoing strategic thought leadership around our living. And then one that's right on the horizon that we've just been talking about over the last couple of weeks is bringing this design system to Blue Cross of Idaho, and I'm really excited to see the ways in which that will enable new kinds of collaboration. So lastly, Chris, now that you've kind of got this foundation set over the last few years of good work, can you tell us a bit about maybe some upcoming projects or initiatives that will continue to improve experiences for consumers and start to really set Blue Cross of Idaho apart?
Yeah, I think what we're really excited about is continuing the velocity of delivery at which we're at, continuing the culture shift, again, where the digital transformation becomes the fabric of people's discussions. What I would also share is continue with our ability to deliver quickly. And scenario model, I didn't really touch on that, but with the pandemic, having to pivot quickly and do scenario modeling and how do we protect our members and how do we get them things digitally became a very critical aspect of what we're doing. And to tie in some of the behavioral health topics of the day, it enabled us to significantly pivot to get behavioral health content and information to our members in rural populaces who need help quickly. And I would also advocate that we're really looking forward to leveraging some of the digital designs and schematics to support interoperability. We'd like to be able to capture member-driven data, and we'd like to continue with collaborations between providers, members, and payer. So those are some of the highlights that I'm looking forward to working on going forward.
Awesome. We can't wait to see what you do with those projects. That sounds great. Well, Chris, I think that will do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for everyone who's watching. You can find out more about Blue Cross of Idaho at bcidaho.com, and you can see more about Vinyl at vinyl.com. That's VYNYL.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.